Hi, I'm Dan Hegstead. Welcome to another episode of my blog and podcast, The Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving. It's based on my book, which is a paperback. It is a Kindle e-reader, and it's an audiobook read by me, available on Amazon, and the links to Amazon are on my website. And if you'd like to book me as a speaker, I'm available that day. My website, danhegstead.com, danhegstead.com. For those of you listening, it's HEGSTAD.com, danhegstead.com. And if you have some requests for something you'd like to cover, like you'd like me to cover in the vlog and podcast, just send me an email, dan@danhegstead.com. So we're talking about stress management. I've just hammered you on how important this is and what a big deal it is. So I hope you're doing it. Hope you've made your list of what you find stressful and why it is so important. That was the last episode. It's a big deal. And it's tough to do because it requires you to make some changes, but we know you can do that with intention. And here you are moving from coping to thriving, ready to make some changes in your life. I'll remind you, you're not going to do this perfectly. You're not going to move into some super blissful state. And maybe, I don't know. There are people that think you should be able to live in a concentration camp and still maintain your bliss and sanity. And yeah, that'd be nice, but that doesn't sound too realistic. You can only do the best you can. So, don't expect perfection here. And having no expectations is just a good place to be. So I'm going to go through a whole list of things you can do to reduce your stress level. And I go into more detail in the book, of course, which you can buy through my website, danhegstead.com. But I'll go through the list here and pick some out, give it a try. And, some of these you're going to go, oh, yeah, I could do that. Some you're going to go, no way. Those are the ones you should really pay attention to, the ones that you find you are very resistant to. And really think about those because those may be the places where you can make your best growth. So I want to remind you, life is difficult. It just is. And it's not going to change. The outside world is not going to change. It just will not. You can't change other people. You can't read minds. And that's the reality. The sooner you get that in your head, change that attitude, you're going to be much better. And just let things play out. So here's some things you can do. My list. Understanding life is difficult. Okay, we do that. Stress is different for everybody because somebody says, well, that's easy. No, if you find it stressful, you find it stressful, and that's just the way it is. And you go with that. You be you. That's what this whole book and this thing is about, is figuring out who you are and be that person. That's the way to happiness, is just be you. Making good choices, thinking about it, practicing ahead of time, doing some meditation or some serious relaxation so when stress happens, you'll be better prepared to deal with it. Practicing those positive reactions. Being negative is like, it's a funny joke. Just don't do that anymore, Getting regular exercise. You almost cannot overstate getting some good regular exercise. Find something you like to do and do it, and you don't have to, go to the gym for 2 hours every day and be a sweat bomb. Just start walking. Walk around the block and then someday do 2 blocks and so forth. Just do something. Moving is good. Eating well. You can't overstress that, how important it is to buy and cook real food as much as you can. Learning to respect others. That's hard to do. I wrote down here, even the doorknobs, boneheads, morons, and assorted doofi. They're all over out there. You just got to, not let them bug you. Do they push your buttons? Well, don't put your buttons out there. It's easy to say, not easy to do. Multitasking. Oh, yeah, we think we can multitask. Listen, you cannot play the flute, cook dinner, and run a marathon at the same time. You just cannot. Now, you can have several projects going at once, But realize that. So many of us, they say you're like a browser with 10 tabs open. Think about that. Stop trying to multitask. The thing is, if you've got so much to do, you run into this, oh my God, I've got so much to do mentality, and you need to let go of that too. So again, easy to say, not easy to do. Get training. I get so sick of people who complain about their computer when they don't know how to work it, and they won't do anything but complain about it. Quit complaining, get some training, figure it out. It's got an owner's manual. There's help online. I am too busy to get training. Oh, just stop that. I'm tired of that. Getting organized, spending a few minutes to just organize stuff helps a lot. Sort your desk out and so forth. Go through your briefcase, and just get rid of stuff. It does lower your stress level. But it means putting off doing things that are a crisis. Not everything's a crisis, all right? Take a break. Can you do it? Can you really just take a break and not think about work or whatever it is? You can do it. Use relaxing imagery is on the list. I guess that helps. It's kind of not my thing, but it can be good. There are videos on YouTube of relaxing imagery, and that's good. Breathe from your center. And I'll tell you, when I do Taming the Stress Monster, I talk to people about that, how to breathe from your diaphragm. So you're not breathing from your chest up here. You're actually find that diaphragm muscle and learn to manipulate it, and that pulls on your lungs, which draws air in. You have to physically relax in order to do that. And if you physically relax, you mentally relax. Seriously, if there were only one thing you're going to get out of this, learning to breathe from your center, and I'm not kidding, is probably the most important thing you'll do, because the rest of these things will just fall into place. Once you learn how to be physically and mentally relaxed, all the rest of this stuff is just noise, and you notice it and you get rid of it. Learning how to relax. You can do it. I can teach you in 10 seconds. The problem is remembering to do it regularly and when stress happens. That's the challenge. It's not hard to do. It's just remembering to do it and turning it into a habit. Breathing from your diaphragm. I'm serious about that. Next on the list, learn to be quiet. Just sitting quietly without some noise going on. That's not easy to do. Be honest. I'll tell you, there's lying or white lies and all that. Just if you're not honest, it causes a lot of stress. There's some list said, do nothing that requires you to lie. If you're living a lie, if your work requires you to compromise your morals, that is stressful. Consider making some changes. And being honest is not always easy, but it's always good. And it doesn't mean brutally honest. I've got a whole session on saying what needs to be said and how to have tough conversations. That's in the book. We'll get into that more later. But just being honest. Consider counseling. See a therapist. I mean, man, if you're lost, ask directions. You may get where you're going eventually, but why waste the time? A good therapist can save you so much time. But you got to go in with an open mind and courage. But it's frequently these things that scare the hell out of us are not that big a deal once you take a look at them. The fear of them is far worse frequently. I mean, no matter what it is, dealing with it and getting through it and getting beyond, that's coping to thriving, folks. Consider counseling. They'll help you. Overscheduling. Just learning to say, no, I can't do that day. That's not good. It's not easy to do. Do the most unpleasant task first thing in the morning. Yeah, they say eat a frog first thing in the morning, and generally nothing worse will happen the rest of the day. Just get that stuff out of get it done. Take a day off from the news. Yeah, I've got my piece on the news and the media, and, they like to sensationalize and scare us because it's exciting, and we need excitement in our life. It's infotainment. Just shut it off. That does not give you permission to check out as a citizen and not be an informed voter. However, ask for help. That's a little hard for a lot of us to do, but it's people frequently glad to help you. Work on that positive attitude. Again, I almost hesitate to say it because we talk about, toxic positivity, but I tell you, it makes all the difference. The glass is not half full or half empty. It's both. It's just you decide how you want to see it. Getting enough sleep, I've talked about that. It's so important. I haven't set an alarm, rarely, in years because I go to bed early enough. And it's maybe making some tough choices saying, I got to go to bed, but I'm going to get a good sleep, and that helps me think. So those are just some of the things you can do to work at reducing stress. The biggest thing is making the changes and having the courage to do so and trying some of these things and seeing what works and making those big changes in your life that allow you to live a less stressful life. And it's challenging. I grant you that. You will not do it perfectly, but get started. Start doing some of these things with the conscious intention of reducing stress in your life. And I'm going to back up a second here because you're going to look at these things. You're going to look at your list, and you're going to have to make a decision. Is this something I can just live with the way it is? Is this something I can change? And you probably, maybe you can or you can't. So you have to, or can I just get rid of it? Do I have to deal with it? Do I have to just change the way I think about it, or can I get rid of it? And some of this is going to come down to changing your job. It's going to come down to changing your friends. It's going to you deciding how much contact you want to have with your family, for example. And these are some big decisions. But some of these people in your family or your friends are not good for you. If you find they are not good and healthy for you, you're going to have to make some decisions. Can I live with this, or do I want to make some changes and learn how to back off here? And that's where that therapist and counseling can really help you sort through those things and how to do it. If you have to say, have a tough conversation, I've got a video on that coming up, and you can be honest without being brutal, and you practice this. Getting that training. What do you need training with? I mean, there's a video online. I guarantee you, whatever it is, somebody's made a video, and there's 10 bad ones and one good one, if you're lucky. So, think of these things. And again, you don't have to do it now. You don't have to do it today, but today is the day to get started, and then keep going on it. I am so proud of you folks who have come through this and gotten to where you are at the top of the pyramid. We're moving from coping to thriving, and these things are challenging, but not impossible. And when you think of the good life you can have from here on out and how you can share that with others, it's just a wonderful place to be, and I am so excited for you. So keep coming back. We're going to get into some more topics in the next few episodes here. But for now, spend a little time working on stress management, and you are going to move from coping to thriving. I'm Dan Hegstead. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to Next Steps, Tools for Transforming from Coping to Thriving.